Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Uncharted 3 Crushing Difficulty walkthrough, and this is chapter 21, also known as Atlantis of the Sands. And I really like that chapter title. I think it's very poetic, and also this city, absolutely stunning. But on this chapter, the other hand, it's quite challenging, but it's a really fun, it's quite short. And we get pretty straight into it. And I mentioned in my previous video that you are introduced to a new enemy type in this game, and that is the Jinn. You see one of those flaming skull heads over there? It's like a normal enemy, but you have to kill... It's like an enemy that you have to kill twice, because when you shoot a normal enemy, he will go into a little transformation and he will end up as a Jinn. And the Jinns are very, very dangerous, because they have a tendency to teleport. And when they teleport, they usually teleport behind you, and they are very fast and they are very deadly. But luckily for us, the checkpoints in this level are great, I think. Because these are quite short fights. Every instance where you fight them is quite short, and there is a checkpoint in between every wave. That's what I was gonna say. You saw a horrible transition there. When the elevator moves up, you will go into the second wave of Jinns, and I failed once. And that's where the checkpoint drops you off, straight in front of the elevator. And I like to hide behind this plant thing, because it puts you in quite a good position. They have a hard time getting to you. And also they have their own version of the grenade. You see him throwing right there? That is like a grenade, but you can't throw it back and it explodes on impact. So be very careful. Do not underestimate this enemy. And this right here is one of those nerve-wracking moments, because I saw him moving over to my right. So I thought he would head up the stairs over there on the right side, but he just wasn't cooperating. And now I have no idea where he is. And these guys can kill you fast. Be aware of this. You will find out for yourself when you're playing this, or if you have played it already, you'll know that these guys are deadly. There you see the teleportation move. Luckily for me, he didn't decide to go in behind me. He just moved a few inches to the left, so maybe he put himself in a better position for me to kill him. But before you leave this battlefield, I recommend using the RPG like I did in the second phase, because we are gonna fight Jinns throughout this chapter, and I really recommend that you use the grenade launcher and the magnum revolver as much as you can going through this level, because they are very effective. One grenade puts a soldier into becoming a Jinn, and the second grenade will kill him. Same goes for the magnum. Sometimes you can get a little bit unlucky with the magnum. Sometimes it takes 2 bullets to kill a Jinn. I don't know why that is. I don't know if some of the Jinns have more health, or if it's just... If you have followed this series of walkthroughs, you have seen that sometimes the game just doesn't register your hit correctly. And that is, by all means, a programming error. So that is something you'll probably come across as well. But don't despair, you will make it through this. And now we have run into Talbot again. And the interesting thing about this level is that these Jinns really don't exist. They exist in Nate's mind. Because we have drunk some water from a fountain that's in a cutscene that I trimmed out. And when you drink that water, he starts hallucinating. That is a bit of a spoiler alert, but sorry. Anyway, he starts hallucinating, and we go in that elevator. Also, Talbot throws in a grenade that dopes him up even more. So Nate is right now juiced to the eyeballs and running through the streets of Cartagena, being chased by spiders that don't really exist. And also we do some time traveling back to his childhood. And this is a throwback to the beginning of the game when we were being chased across the rooftops by all the agents after we stole the little cipher disk, whatever you call it. And this path is pretty much the same as in that level, so it's very easy, it's quite short. So after this, things get a little bit more tricky. Because right now, due to the drugs that Talbot induced with his little smoke grenade, we are now definitely bombed. And some people may experience nausea due to the screen being this way. Luckily for me, I didn't have it. But this fight, this is, in my opinion, the easiest of the fights in this chapter coming up right now. There is shitloads of weapons here. There are magnums, there are grenade launchers. And as soon as you try to interact with this gate, you will go into another fight. And what I like to do is immediately throw in a grenade, try to spawn kill one or two of them if I can, or at least send them into the Jinn state and then follow it up with a grenade from my grenade launcher. There are only, I think it's 3 enemies here, and that was a great grenade throw, by the way, if I may blow my own horn for a few seconds. Perfect timing. Threw it back, he ran straight into it, it put him in a Jinn state, I shot again, that takes care of him. And that ends this fight. And after the fight is over, run around, pick up, try to restock on grenades, pick up any more try to restock on hand grenades and grenades for your M32 hammer. And I'll see if you can find any magnum bullets. And once you're in here, here are only 2 enemies and I aimed terribly. That was absolutely atrocious. One of them starts teleporting, another one teleports in behind me. Very dangerous situation, do not hesitate. Immediately pull your aim around and go for his head or go for his upper body, whatever that takes him out. And we're moving into the last fight of this chapter. And this is by far the hardest. And the key to winning this fight is do not despair. You will probably not make this on your first try unless you're playing on easy or explorer difficulty. But I like to hide behind this fountain in the middle because it's round and you can move around it. The enemies will try to teleport, they will run around, they will do everything they can to get at you. But the good part about this fountain being round is that you can always try or you can always move out of their line of fire. And also be very aggressive. I know this is the last fight of the chapter, by the way, also great position. 2 enemies moved up right next to each other. I pumped in a grenade, killed at least one of them, and now there's only this guy left. But this is the last fight of the chapter, so there's no need to be stingy with your bullets. You will, I think you will carry over your ammunition, so if you run out of anything, please restock again. There is some grenade ammo lying around. And now we're going into a little puzzle. If you've gotten this far, you have beaten all the hardest fights of this game. There was that one in, was it chapter 11? Down there at the well, which I whined about, to be completely honest. And it's also these Jinns. They are very difficult at times, or they are very challenging. You need to bring, I wouldn't say your A game, but you can't play it too casually. And there is always an RNG factor, of course. In all big combat sequences, there is always that little dice roll. Sometimes they can be very passive and move great into your line of sight and you can just shoot them and have no problems at all. Sometimes they will kill you before you even know what's what. And as you can see, this is a little puzzle. you fill up this little pool and you will follow Nate's reflection to go around to these 2 big wheels and start spinning them. And his reflection will help you. And after that is done, all you need to do is try to pull out the plug, and he will throw you into a very weird cutscene. This is the drugs doing doing their job. But after that is said and done, all you need to do now is to try and climb out of this pool, which I wasn't so much successful in doing, and run through these old archways, and we will head into the last chapter of the game. Chapter 22, which holds, in my opinion, the hardest last boss in the Uncharted series, actually. But I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.